How has the Greenbelt movement affected and/or shaped modern agriculture in Kenya? My final research question. The Greenbelt movement was founded in 1977 by Professor Wangari Maathai. She was born in a rural Kenyan village in 1940 and ultimately became the first woman in East and Central Africa to earn a doctorate degree, as well as the first woman to become chair of the Department of Veterinary Anatomy and assistant professor at the University of Nairobi in Kenya. Her exceptional educational background prompted appointment as chairman of the National Council of Women, where she first introduced the main idea behind the Greenbelt movement. She proposed the notion of community-based tree plantings in response to the needs of rural Kenyan women who reported that their streams were drying up, their food supply was less secure, and that they had to walk further and further to get firewood for fuel and fencing. The purpose of this grassroots organization was to plant trees in an effort to restore ecosystems, promote sustainable livelihoods, empower women, and promote democracy. Before the rise of this organization, agricultural development in Africa was dominated by white immigrant settlers and plantation companies. The colonization of the continent allowed these European settlers to move in and take over lands that had traditionally been owned by the indigenous populations. With them, they brought a system of disenfranchisement, tearing down tradition and implementing their own agricultural practices that severely damaged the environment. These were unsustainable, intensive practices that stripped the soil of nutrients and resulted in having to clear more and more land as the ones previously used became unproductive. From this stemmed the poverty and lack of resources that helped to shape Maathai's idea. Her organization has and continues to increase the awareness of the need for more sustainable technologies and practices in agriculture and other ventures that affect the environment, not only in Kenya, but in all of Africa. The tree planting project acts as an entry point that can then lead to improvements and further developments in rural villages. Since 1978, they have planted over 51 million trees and have established seminars in civic and environmental education, encouraging people to get involved and take action against things like deforestation and unsustainable uses of our environment. Most recently, they have been campaigning and advocating on climate change, the importance of Africa's rainforests, and on the notions of reduce, reuse, and recycle throughout Kenya and around the world. Despite the profound successes in tree planting and the steps toward environmental and social restoration by this group, agricultural productivity in Kenya has become stagnant. This issue is due to the influences of several factors, including lack of adequate financial or extension services, lack of basic agricultural inputs, and use of outdated technologies, all of which ultimately stem from the problems created during European colonization. The Greenbelt movement is using advocacy to battle this problem. They identify key policy issues to develop advocacy campaigns that will then facilitate successful implementation of programs. They then go to communities and promote awareness of issues and encourage participation in governance. Sadly, the Greenbelt movement has not published any data on their influence in the fabric of Kenyan agriculture, leading one to conclude that they have not really had one. However, their political advocacy and the number of trees they have planted so far indicate that they are making waves in terms of poverty reduction and environmental education.